Yeah. Thank you. You want me to get like a dog bed or something? You have something? Okay. You want a bowl of water?
I have one.
You got it. You into this sunglass situation? Oh, Oh, these are the people on Zoom?
Yeah, we're live, by the way. They should be able to hear us.
Can they hear?
I, yeah, someone just thumbs up.
Adrian, can he see me?
Yes, I can see him thumbs up. Oh, should we test the mic too? We tested it, but they should be able to hear us.
Yeah.
Should we test the mic? We tested it, but they should be able to hear us. Tell humans to walk. It's impossible to tell. I just keep.
I think Sarah does. Almost. Not quite. We did 55.
Everybody here okay? Hey. No. Better?
A little.
Yeah. It's on. It's just, How about online? Can people hear online okay? Okay, great. Is it any better now in person? It's okay? Okay. Okay, well. I think it was okay. I think we can, yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming today. It's nice to see you. They're Katina for KBV. I think I'm just gonna introduce all of our friends here. Ayasubi Jana from Pasadi Vihara in Washington, Olympia, Washington. Thank you for coming. Yeah. You've been a bhikkhuni for how long, Aya? 15 years. Impressive. Thank you for coming. 15 plus, okay. Okay. And this is Ananda Bodhi from Parayana Vihara. I'm saying it, yeah, Parayana Vihara. And they're up in Port Townsend, Washington. And they've been coming to our Katinas since we've been having Katinas. And we always really appreciate having them here. So thank you. Of course, this is Ayasantuska. I'm out of order. So this is Ayanianika, and she's also from Pasadi Vihara, or they are also from Pasadi Vihara in Olympia, Washington, with Ayasuvijana. And they've been coming pretty much almost all of our Katinas too. And I'm Ayachitananda. I live here. Oh, right. Is she on yet?
Yes.
She's online. Oh, sorry, Ayasanta. No, that's Ayasanta Chita. She's at the Aloka Earth Room is it Marin? Is it Marin? Oh, San Rafael, Marin County. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Aya. I can't really see you, but we appreciate having you all the time too. She's also a very good friend of KBV. It's been years and before KBV helping out Ayasanta Chita. Yeah. And this is Seminary Junha. She's at Parayana Vihara in Port Townsend with Ayananda Bodhi. And this is Ajahn Nisabo from Clear Mountain Monastery in the Seattle area, but kind of gelling still, looking for property. He's got a really wonderful community and he's a really good teacher. And we really enjoy having him as our monastic brother. So thank you for coming. And then this is Bhante Jayasara. And he's kind of based in New Jersey, but hoping to open a monastery in Colorado. And he's been to several of our Katinas too at this point, or visiting us a lot. And we also really enjoy having him as a good monastic brother too. Always nice when we have supportive bhikkhus. Okay, I think I got everybody, I hope. And yeah, Jamila said he's online now, I think. Jamila is our board president, and he's been with us since the beginning of KBV, our stalwart and fearless leader kind of president who's always been there for us when we've been in tight spaces and has the best ideas ever. So we very much appreciate him. And he's moved to Rhode Island, I think. So he hasn't been here in person anymore, but he's with us in spirit. And he's also going to give a little talk. So I think we go ahead and have him say what he would like to. Thank you for talking, Jamila.
All right, fantastic. Can you hear me okay?
Just a second, Jamila. I'm gonna put the mic up there.
Do you want me to hold it so you can do the go?
You're gonna have to say, you're gonna have to use the mic to say go for it, Jamila. All right, can you hear me okay? How about now?
How's
Can
that?
Can folks hear me?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, just a few words. So, dear friends and monastics, welcome to the 2024 Kathina celebration. I want to thank all the volunteers who put together this Kathina event, and I'd like to thank the venerable monastics for joining us in support of the ceremony. I'd like to thank the board and the volunteers who work in support of the board and its various committees. All of your efforts keep us humming along every month. Finally, I want to thank all of you for coming together to create this community that has grown to support so many people through Karuna Buddhist Vihara. Your collective energy and goodwill are what make all of this happen. I truly think of this moment as a time of celebration, a chance to connect with each other in this shared space and reflect on what's meaningful in our personal journeys. I know many of us have made changes in our lives, relationships, and careers. And this year, I want to talk for a few minutes about new beginnings. I've had a lot of big changes in my life from the start of 2023 versus the start of 2024. The biggest being all the kids are out of the house. They're all off in the world and they are super honest and upstanding. So much so, last week I called my daughter and I said, "Aren't you glad you've got such an awesome dad?" And she said, "Dad, I love you, but you weren't always awesome." So I enjoy the feedback. But that phase is over. They're all off in the world. And so I've been thinking about new beginnings in general. And given the current heightened political climate and activities, this following observation from a friend of mine really struck a chord with me. She's a professional politician, an elected official, and she shared making changes is hard because old people don't change their minds and young people don't show up to vote. So it seems the first step to a new beginning is encouraging and enabling that younger part of ourselves to show up and vote in our own life. The second interesting thing I've observed is I've noticed this phrase being used quite a bit. It is what it is. It's a phrase I hear quite often. It is what it is, has a finality to it, like nothing can be done. It is what it is. And I discovered a useful way to move forward from that is by saying, it is what it is, but it isn't what has to be. The moment we can adopt that mindset that what is isn't what has to be, create some space for us to move. Because ultimately, a new beginning is about finding agency in your life. In discovering that agency, you have to believe not just in what's meaningful, you have to also believe in the agency that your efforts and the process that it takes to get there will give you. I hope these observations help as you use your practice to discover and set forth on new beginnings in your life and overcome obstacles. I also hope you find time to reconnect with people you've lost touch with for whatever reason, whether it's friends or family. Because remember, relationships don't work because they're convenient. Relationships work because they're prioritized over inconveniences. With that, I want to pass the conversation back to the organizers. Have a lovely celebration, and thank you all.
Thank you. It's coming up. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Philip over here for running the tech, and I think Adrian has been helping online too. So Philip has been a part of our board for a very long time, and now he's working as our treasurer. So he's also our leading tech guy. So thank you, Philip. And Jocelyn online too is our CFO for our organization. And she's been doing a lot of great work with our finance committee and helping make KBB run smoothly on the administrative end. So thank you, Jocelyn. There she is. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to have our Kathina ceremony. And I think all of you know what that is, the offering of alms at the end of the rains retreat. And yeah, basically this is the ceremonial bit where we come together and the community offers the formal offering of the requisites. And Jamila, Sarda and Dilhara have taken the lead on the committee this year again, along with their brand new baby Asher, who the people here have been really enjoying, I'm sure, playing with Asher. Yeah, the youngest Katina donor we've ever had, 8 months old and starting his life off right. Yeah, and also their Dilhara's mother Dil has helped provide most of the food for the Katina this year too. So thank you, Dil. Lovely Dil. Oh, she's in the back there hiding. And then everybody else who brought offerings for today. So thank you. We're going to have our ceremonial bit by Ananda Bodhi is going to call the Devas for us. And then we'll do some refuges and precepts and we'll go from there.
You all have your programs handy because you'll need those when we get to the refuges and precepts time later too with changes in it. Avikita Jita Paritang Banantu Samanta Chakavale Suat Pragachantu Devata
Sadhammang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakamokadam Sage Kame Charupe Irisi Karatate Chantali Ke Vimane Diperate Chagame Taravana Gahane Gehawatu Ikete Umachayantu Deva Jalatala Visameyaka Gandhabanaga Vidanta Santikeya Mugivara Vachana Sada Wame Sunantu Buddha Dasana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Badanta Sangha Pairupasana Kalo Ayam Badanta
Thank you, Ariane. Okay, so we're going to do 5 precepts. It's on the inside of your program on the second page there. You open it up. 3 refuges. Okay, 3 refuges and 5 precepts. Okay, would anybody like to request the precepts?
Can we do it all together?
We could do it all together.
I could do that. I could do it all together if you want.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay. So we're going to start by bowing 3 times together. Bow now. Okay, and then all together we'll request everyone Mayan following Lynn's singing. Mayan, Mayan, Tisaran, Saha, Pancha, Siyan, Nacha, Tiyan, Mayan, Tisaran, Saha, Siyan,
Very good. Okay. I'm going to say Namo Tassa 3 times by myself, and then you all will repeat it all at once. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I'm going to do this one line by line, so I'll chant it and you repeat after me, okay? Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. Ti sarana gamanang nititam. So for the 5 precepts on the next page, I'm going to do it in Pali, and then you're going to repeat it in Pali, and then you're also going to repeat it in English. Pranatipata veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Kame sumi chachara veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya maja pramadatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikapadani silena sukatiyanti silena bhoga sampada silena nibhutinyanti tasma silang visodaye. Always makes me happy when people take precepts, so thank you. Keep them. Okay, so now we're going to pass around the cloth and we're going to chant Namo Tassa together all at once while we pass it around, and also some of the gift bags that have been offered this year, so everybody can hold the trays and with your good intentions offer it to the Sangha. I think Sarda's going to do that. Ayananda Buddhi's going to lead for us.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 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 Namo Tassa
Thank you. So, I'm not sure. Are you coming, Sarda, to offer the requisites, or are you all coming up? We all planned on it. Good. Asher's coming too. Delhara's got him good.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerables, we present this Kathina cloth and all the other offerings to the community. It would be good if the community would accept these offerings and continue to develop KDV and share the Dhamma for our long-term welfare and happiness.
I like the ad lib there. Thank you. Good job. Okay. Well, the Bikini song is gonna do the maybe after, right after. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to do the formal acceptance.
Both.
This Katina cloth, together with other offerings, has arisen for the community in the season appropriate for spreading the Katina. And a season like this, the spreading of the Katina with the cloth arisen in this way has been allowed by the Blessed One for the bhikkhunis who have completed the rain's residence. By this means, 5 things are proper for a community that desires going without one's complete set of robes, a group meal, keeping the robe cloth as long as wanted, and any robe cloth arriving there in the residence
Venerables, the Blessed One has allowed the spreading of the Katina only by an individual, for he said, not otherwise than through the spreading by an individual is the Katina spread. Neither a community nor a group spreads the Katina. Through the concord of the community and the group, and through the spreading by the individual is the Katina of the community, the group, and the individual spread. Now, to whom do we give the Katina cloth to spread the Katina? To whoever has an old robe or a threadbare robe, or to whoever will strive and, finishing the making of the robe today, without omitting any of the procedures, is capable of spreading the Katina.
in residence at Karuna Buddhist. Good catch. We've just revoted. Of those in residence at Karuna Buddhist Vihara, Venerable Samtusika is learned. One who remembers the Dhamma, who remembers the Vinaya, who instructs, urges, rouses, and encourages her fellows in the holy life. Being the teacher of many, she is one who teaches and expounds to them. She is also capable of spreading the Katina without spoiling any of the disciplinary requirements. I think this entire community wants to give this Katina cloth together with the other offerings to Venerable Santusika, and that when the Katina is spread, the entire community will rightly give it its approval. It is pleasing. Is it pleasing to this community to give this Katina cloth together with the other offerings to Venerable Santusika, or is it not?
It is.
If the giving of this Katina cloth together with its accessories to Venerable Santusika is pleasing to this entire community, then it should be given without regard to the order of receiving the rain's retreat cloth. As for the Katina cloth, even if it were given by announcement, it would not be effective. So may the community make this transaction resolution. We now give it to the Venerable Santusika by means of a motion and seconding announcement that is irreversible and fit to stand.
Venerable, may the community listen to me. This Katina cloth has arisen for the community. If the community is ready, it should give this Katina cloth to the Venerable Santusika to spread the Katina. This is the motion. Venerable ladies, may the community listen to me. This Katina cloth has arisen for the community. The community is giving this Katina cloth to Venerable Santusika to spread the Katina. If the giving of this Katina cloth to Venerable Santusika to spread the Katina is agreeable, then remain silent. She to whom it is not agreeable should speak. This Katina cloth is given to the community, by the community, to Venerable Santusika to spread the Katina. This is agreeable to the community. Therefore it is silent. Thus I hold it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so like it said in the ceremony, we're making it tonight. So Amber's gonna quick run and throw the robed cloth into the washer for us, so it'll get all nice and shrinky for sewing. Thank you, Amber. Okay. And okay, so we're gonna do the Anamodana now. Janisa Bo is gonna lead the Anamodana for us.
Aleda danti sapanya vadanyuvita machara. Alena dinang ariyesu uju pute sutadisu. Vipassana manatasa vipula hoti dakina. Ye tata anumodanti ve vachang karonti va. Na te na dakina ona te pi punya sabagino. Tasamada de apatiwana chito yata dinang mahapalam. Punyani paralokasaming patita honti paninandi. And everyone can say 3 sadhus for that too, I guess. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you. And now I think I experience this generosity on the part of everyone in the community. It's also so wonderful to have the fourfold assembly present here in one space in harmony. It's wonderful to have all of the venerable bhikkhunis and the venerable bhikkhus with us, our dear sisters and brothers on this path, and all of our sisters and brothers in lay life, living the Dhamma with so much sincerity and commitment. And we see it every day at KBV. We're so inspired by all of you. So we decided for the theme this year to use for the benefit of many. And that really is what our practice is. It's for our own benefit. We practice to develop our own mind. And in fact, I know that's what you are all doing. And also in monastic life, that's the one thing you really are committing to when you ordain, is to develop the mind, to develop the heart, to develop higher virtue, higher mind, and higher wisdom, and realize Nibbana. It's our real job. But of course, in the process of doing that, we are also, all of us, benefiting many. And I was particularly, I don't know, delighted, I think I could say, when I realized that all of our monastic guests are in the process of starting new ventures. It's kind of an interesting experience because we were the upstarts just last week. But now KBV's been in existence for 12 years, and everybody else present, including Ayasanta Chitta Online, and with the Aloka Earth Room, and Aya Suijana and Aya Nyanaka with Pasadi Vihara just getting started. Aya Ananda Bodhi and Seminary Jinha, getting Parayana Vihara started. Ajahn Nisabo and Ajahn Kovilo, who's not here in person, but is with us in spirit, we know, pulling together a tremendous community there for Clear Mountain Monastery. And Bhante Jaisara is planning, oh, thank you, sister, is working to just the very beginnings of Dhammaseka, Magaseka, a new monastery that's the light of which is starting to shine on the Denver, Colorado area. Fair enough? Yeah. Or wherever. But taking root in. So we want to invite you. Many of you have come to our Katinas before, know that we often have many of the venerables speak who are present. And so these shortish Dhamma talks from each person, it's wonderful to get different perspectives on a theme. So we're going to begin with Ayasu Jana. Thank you, Aya.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Not so well.
How's that? Okay. So, thank you so much. And this is such a beautiful occasion here. It's just wonderful to be here. I was contemplating this topic of the benefit. I keep thinking of that in the chanting in English. It's for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us, you know, when we come together like this, and we're doing it together. But what occurred to me is there's a story that I really love from the teachings of the Buddha, from the suttas, where the Buddha is talking to the monks, and he's telling the story of these two acrobats. And there's the acrobat and his apprentice, and they have the bamboo pole, and the master has to hold the pole upright, and there's a crossbar at the top. And so he says to the apprentice, "Dear apprentice, climb up on my shoulders and climb up on the pole, and I'll look after you, I'll guard you, and you guard me." And the apprentice says, no, that's not the way to do it. I will look after myself and protect myself, and you will look after yourself and protect yourself, and that way we'll both be safe. And so this mutuality, this protecting or caring for one another, and also the happiness that it gives us. And the Buddha said the way we look after ourselves, we protect ourselves through mindfulness of everything we do. He said the 4 satipatthanas. So caring, you know, our mindful, careful awareness throughout the day, we guard ourselves, and this protects others as well. And protecting others through non harm, when we act in when we have patience, when we have sympathy for others, we're protecting ourselves from unwholesome mental states. And this brings up joy in our hearts. It's a lasting joy. And so it's for our benefit and for the benefit of others that we do this internal cultivation, that we cultivate these wholesome qualities. So I know when I first came to, it was a Bayagiri monastery, and I saw people just very joyfully, like everybody was like competing even to do the dishes and to help out and to do acts of generosity and kindness. And it was just very contagious. And so So when we do these things for others, we're really benefiting ourselves. So this mutuality is really important. And this KBV wouldn't be here with all your support, and without Aya's here, beautiful Aya's here, all of you wouldn't be together. So this is another aspect of this mutual benefit. So there's other people I should pass on to, but thank you all for coming, and really commend also keeping the 5 precepts as a source of joy too. We keep them well. So just end with that.
So the next venerable that's going to speak is Aya Santuchita, and maybe she can be spotlighted over there on the
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, she doesn't even need this, huh?
Oh.
Because the connection is pretty bad. I don't hear much of what you're saying, or everyone.
The jobber needs to be in front of the speaker.
You want me to move this?
No, not right now. After your movement, after this happens.
Okay.
Try to make that better.
Hello?
Hello?
Should I start?
Tell her.
Yes.
Okay. So hello, everyone. Unfortunately, I can't be down in the South Bay because I had committed to do an online teaching, which just finished an hour ago. And even I live pretty close, it's kind of weird that I couldn't come. So I'm really sorry, and would have loved to be part of the gathering. And, it's so lovely to see how, Karuna Buddhist Vihara has become a real beautiful monastery, and is flourishing and unfolding in a very beautiful way, and with increasing stability, and very encouraging to see, and myself, I've kind of went through a transition and have started again with a place here currently in San Rafael, the Aloka Earth Room, where I'm working on bringing together Dharma, ecology, and art as a response, to the situation we find ourselves in. And I was inspired, by Jamila, what Jamila was saying about agency, because we all do have agency, but it needs to be grounded in the Dhamma, and also it needs to be grounded in the reality of what it means, to be a human being and to have a body, the body as a riding animal for consciousness, to be able to practice in this way in the human form. And, at this day and age, we're getting some pretty intense feedback, from the biosphere, from the planet, about that we need to do things differently. We need to participate differently. And I feel that this is an important way, how we can bring the Dhamma into what's happening right now. And I'd like to just guide us all in a very short meditation. So, noticing the weight of your body on the cushion and on the chair, wherever you are sitting right now. So noticing the weight and the gravity of the body of the planet which is holding you in place, this earth body. There's this strong, resonance between the body of the planet and our flesh bodies because they are made from the same stuff. And this gravity shows us, from where this body comes. It has emerged, out of the earth through our mothers. And it's kept alive, through constant exchange with the earth, through eating, drinking, breathing, going to the bathroom. And then that goes back into the earth and new food springs up. It's eaten, digested, becomes part of our bodies, and so it goes. To really look at that truth, that actually our bodies and the body of the planet is one body. And this is an awareness, this is a realization which now is slowly entering society, mainstream society, because of the pressure we are under through the feedback, of the biosphere. And the Buddha's teaching is such a wonderful support, in keeping an amount of steadiness and equanimity throughout this process, as we are dropping deeper into who we really are as human beings. The earth, is not just like a stage on which we are walking about, but we are participants, active participants, and we have agency. And, we have this very powerful teaching, the Noble Eightfold Path, the middle way, which can help us to keep steady throughout this transition of undergoing a change from one paradigm to a new paradigm, the old paradigm crumbling all around us, and the new paradigm coming through the cracks. In a time of great uncertainty, and having the elections coming up in 3 days, we really very much need to remember the teaching of the Buddha and the teachings of the earth to keep opening and keeping steady with what is emerging, and trusting, trusting the intelligence of the process. And it's not the first time, that human beings go through such great changes. And life knows how to go on. Life knows how to continue. We need to listen and, steady ourselves through the teachings of the Dhamma and other wisdom's teachings, which are around, to help us to keep open and to not give into our fears and to trust that we have a sense of agency. We can make choices. And we are all together in this. Everybody is in this together. So thank you. That's what I'd like to share with you, and then handing it back to Ayas and Tusika.
We're working on making the sound better for the people online. We're just gonna move things around a little bit. You can okay, can people hear better now online? Online, you're hearing better? Okay, wonderful. All right, and now we're going to hear from Aya Ananda Bodhi. You know, Aya Ananda Bodhi and Aya Santachita have both been wonderful sisters and mentors for us, and we so much appreciate your ongoing loyalty and sweet friendship.
Thank you, Aya. Yeah, it's very lovely to be here and see how KBV is flourishing. Actually, it's inspiring. The forest monastery and also the city center. Yes, it's very and the big. So for the benefit of men. And also for the future generations, even 2,600 years later, amazingly, all over the world, people are benefiting from the Buddha's teaching. And as people were awakening in the Buddha's time, he at one point sent out the awakened ones to go in all directions, to go out for the benefit of many, for those with little dust in their eyes, for those who can see at least a little bit clearly. None of us can see really clearly until we're fully awakened, but for those who are not completely lost in the material world, who have a different perspective, who can see that there is another truth, another reality that we can live by, that isn't just about becoming or about getting rid of, but it's about awakening to our true nature and to our interdependence, that we're part of each other. So as I sit here, I have and just also just reflecting on how flourishing the Karuna Buddhist Vihara is now, and how many people are benefiting from the teachings of Aya Santusika and Aya Chitananda, who does less verbal teaching, but she teaches in other ways. How many people are benefiting from this, and people, and also I'd like to also think of the devas, and other land earth spirits that rejoice in the goodness of the sangha, the fourfold assembly. So I earlier invited the devas to come. It's actually also the dragon spirits and the earth protectors and all sorts of characters, and they also benefit from this, from keeping good ethics, for example. So that the devas, I'm not someone who can see these things, but there are people who can. And it's said that the devas really enjoy the fragrance of good ethics, that it's like a sweet, delightful fragrance for them. So, when you take the precepts and when you live by good ethics and generosity and care for each other, and for future generations also. Future generations. Very important. Hi. Very important, that we take care for the benefit of those who are just coming in at this time. So there's a field of goodness. I feel like there's this field of blessings, field of merit that is being created right here, right now, through the generosity, through the ethics, through the sharing of Dhamma, and also through generations that are here. All kinds of different age groups here right now. So to be part of that field of blessings, it takes a certain intention and an action. And everyone is part of that. Everyone here is part of that at this moment, and people online, and maybe also people who haven't been able to connect in person, but are connected in the heart. But just to really take in that each of us here, that you are part of this field of blessings that's being generated right now. And this is the kind of agency that we have in the world. You know, we can get caught up and struggle and want to have more, and, you know, get afraid and try and control things. We can do all those things. And if we attune our minds in the right way, our body, speech, and mind, we can be part of a field of blessings. And it's really important to notice it, not to take it for granted, but to see that the potency of that and the power of that you have, that we have together. So may the blessings continue to grow and benefit many and keep rippling out. And may your practice, the practice of all the monastic Sangha and everyone here, deepen, so that each of our lives may be a blessing in the world. That we are not just consuming, but we're also generating goodness.
Thank you, Ananda Bodhi. Okay, it's getting harder and harder as we go because there's so many things that have already been said. We're gonna pass this on to Ajahn Nisapo and see what he's gonna do with it.
Everyone, how's the volume? Good. It's struck me recently how easy it is to lose sight of the moment we're in. And there's a teacher who, Master Hua, came to him in a dream and said, "Bright, loud, and mobile is the false, subtle and indistinct is the true. Bright, loud, and mobile is the false, subtle and indistinct is the true." And I think when we come into, modernity and an election season and all these things, it's so easy to become entranced by that bright, loud, and mobile, and really pass by the morning spent under a tent in a little backyard, and to really take stock of what it means. It strikes me coming out to Karuna Buddhist Vihara these last 2 nights, and having been under streetlights for so long. The place I'm staying right now is it's kind of in the suburbs a little bit, and then suddenly being able to see stars again, and how when you're in the city and blinded by the brighter, more glaring lights, you forget these stars above us and these vast narratives of time and constellations and Orion and the, what are the 7 sisters? The Pleiades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close. Oh, I sent to Chitta. We have it. So it's so easy to forget that there's this vast narrative spinning above us, and it's subtle and indistinct when we're blinded by the glaring lights. And yet it's what lasts much longer. And to see what it means to be at the headwaters of the revival of the Theravada Bhikkhuni order, for the benefit of many, yes, you can think of it in terms of expansiveness out into the world, but far more meaningful is the expansiveness through time. And to understand the importance of the purity of those headwaters. And one thing I notice about Ayya Santusika and Ayya Chittananda every time I meet them is the purity of the taste of their words. There's no vinegar in them. There's no sourness. It's just clear, you know, Ajahn Chah said, be like clear flow or still flowing water. And for me, they're still flowing water. And both of you are still and both of you are flowing at various times. um, but having the seed of purity that's that clean and the taste that's that completely untainted, it bodes so well for future decades and centuries. And the generations upon generations of bhikkhunis, which I think will come after. And to understand the burden of that, and, you know, strangely enough, that in those turbulent waters of the moment, maybe it's the weight of that mantle that keeps your feet firm on the ground in the midst of that. And, you know, to honor, I hope I can honor, and we all can honor what that means to be holding all those future generations and to be giving your life to that. And yet you also hold it so well and so playfully. And yeah, you two are like water. I just, it's interesting. I think ceremony like this has the potential to connect us from the time bound into the timeless. And it's these bridges. And Aya Santusika was speaking about how she came into robes and giving this little LED flashlight to this famous teacher and him just clicking it on and off and saying, wouldn't it be great if your mind was as bright as this flashlight? And then that night she just had these brilliant dream of Ajahn Mahabua just blazing into her heart. And just like the fact that our lives can seem so unassuming and it can just be a little LED flashlight, but then there's this bridge into this deeper time where it's not just a flashlight, it's this bridge into robes and into the luminous heart. And yeah, just rejoicing in what can seem, you know, this community is flourishing, and the monastery seems like it's really coming together, and actually having the infrastructure for more bhikkhunis to go there, to have the city center. Like, these are all real and practical developments. But time and again, I feel like what we always risk losing is sight of the spirit of what's timeless, that's kind of hovering above us now, those deeper constellations. And I feel so blessed to be, yeah, how rare do we get to be part of something like this, and sitting in a fourfold Sangha together. So thank you, Ayas, for all you bring for the many, for this community, for supporting them and bringing together something much, much deeper. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn. Yeah, it's so beautiful, that reflection on how our ordination lineage stretches back through millennia, back to the time of the Buddha. And that it is really our opportunity to carry it forward to next generations. And I'm so proud of everybody here, the monastics in our greater community of friends. And now another good friend from years already. And as I said, starting a new venture. You know, all these new ventures, this way of spreading the Dhamma, this way of sharing the Dhamma, this way of opening the Dhamma up to more people in more places is so valuable. And Bhante Jayasara has been traveling. He's been a traveling monk for the last 2.5 years.
Okay, there you go. So shortly after the Buddha became awakened, there was one being that was not really happy about it. He was called Mara. And Mara came to the Buddha and said, "Oh, you became awakened? Good, good, good. Just go away. Go die. Don't stick around." And the Buddha said, "I will not," he basically said, "Mara, like, mark my words, I will not leave until there is the fourfold assembly." And these days, if you're inclined to be gender inclusive, many people use like manifold assembly and things like that. But for the simplicity, I'll use the fourfold assembly. And the Buddha explains this. Who's the fourfold assembly? So he goes, "I will not leave until there are bhikkhus who are learned, diligent, practicing well." You know, okay, yeah, like those are monks. Of course, obviously you think that's obvious. Then the next one is, "I will not leave until there are bhikkhunis who are learned, diligent, practicing well." And then he says, "I will not leave until there are laymen who are diligent, learned, practicing well. I will not leave until there are lay women who are diligent, learned, practicing well." So just because you're lay people doesn't mean you get it off easy. The Buddha needed all of us, to have these qualities of being learned and diligent and practicing well. And so fast forward 40 years later, Mara comes back to the Buddha and says, "Remember what you said 40 years later? Well, that exists. Now go away." And the Buddha said, don't rush me, Mara. It'll come soon." But this fourfold assembly is the heart of Buddhism. The Buddha wanted to make a vehicle that would keep the Dhamma alive through millennia. So everybody in that assembly is important, and everybody in that community plays a role in passing on the baton to the next generations, as they've been doing for 2,600 years. And when we think about this community, and specifically when we think about the relationship between monastics and lay people, most of you may know that monastics, Buddha basically made monastics like little babies. We can't do anything for ourselves. Even if we're in the middle of the woods and there's a nice avocado and we want it, we can't actually go to the tree and pick out the fruit. That's how dependent that the Buddha made monastics. Now, of course, in the modern day, in non-Buddhist countries like America, we have to, make some adjustments perhaps. But the Buddha made us this way so that maybe some of you know history. Like in Europe in the Middle Ages, there were monasteries with monks, and the monks had people tilling their farms, and they lived in castles and things like that. That's not how it is in Buddhism. The Buddha set it up so that we are so dependent, we cannot be away and above lay people in that way. The Buddha set it up also that we shouldn't live too close or too far to lay people when we're doing our wanderings and being near the village. So this symbiotic relationship is what has kept Buddhism alive. And this is why it was so important to bring back the Bhikkhuni lineage. Because just like, without 1/4 of that fourfold assembly, there's no Buddhism. Just like without monastics, there's no Buddhism. Just like without lay people, there's no Buddhism. Right? We all work together in that way. Right? And traditionally, maybe you've heard that, what do we give each other? Have you heard this term symbiotic before? I remember hearing it first when I was maybe 12 years old, reading like a nature magazine. And they were talking about these little beings that latch on to sharks. And like the shark gets something from that, and the beings that latch onto the sharks get something from that. So the idea is we both get something from each other. Right? The laity traditionally supports us with requisites for living. Robe, cloth. That's why that's what Kathina is about, right? Robe cloth, medicines, food, shelter. So the laity provide the monastics material means. And in turn, the monastics are like specialists. What I mean by that is, in the beginning of civilization, everybody was a farmer. But then suddenly we were able to not all be farmers, and people became blacksmiths and different jobs. And so a monastic's job is to keep the Dhamma alive and to share the teachings. Monastic's job is also to make sure that there's good sila in the community, right? So you provide us with the material things, and we try to help you with the spiritual things. And we both keep the Dhamma alive so that we can pass the baton on to new generations. This is why it's so important that we're all included in this group, right? We all work together in different ways, different means, with different skills. We all work together so that maybe even 2,600 years from now, there'll be people meeting and at Kathina and listening to the Dhamma. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhante. These different titles that we have are somewhat assigned and somewhat chosen. Like the Bhikkhunis have decided to use Aya or Ai, and Ajahn comes from Thai, the Thai tradition, and then Bhante is a little more, it's from the Pali. So we can choose our preferences in a way to what makes sense for us, just so you know where those titles come from. And now we want to hear from, thank you. Well, probably okay. I'm really delighted that Aya Nyanaka is here with us. And I've been with all of our Sangha members. When you know people for years and they're training and practicing, you really see the blossoming. And I've been really rejoicing, in particular, being able to spend some time with Aya Nyanaka here lately. And we a number of us do some studying together. And, when monastics study things together, then we really have a chance to look at the details. And Aya Nyanaka has been such a beautiful contributor to understanding the details. And I really appreciate that. So I'll turn it over to you. Thank you. Thank you.
So 5 monastics have gone before me, and as you heard, more, okay, swallow the microphone. And so, a lot of what I thought I might say has been said, and then I realized that doesn't matter. That's exactly what our tradition has been about. The Buddha said these things 2,600 years ago, and they're still serving us today. So there's some repetition, I think. And I'd like to just say, for the benefit of many, what we have here, we have people who are practicing with 227 precepts, 10 precepts, 311 precepts. Many of you today took 5 or maybe are holding 8 precepts. And this is for the benefit of those of us who are here, the interdependence we've been talking about, but it's also out in the world. I think you've experienced it when you've gone out and you know that there's safety because the people around you are practicing in an ethical way where they will not harm. That is a gift for the many. That is a gift we offer to each other, and it makes it safe for our practice to deepen because that's there for each of us. We're holding these precepts, we're supporting each other we're coming together to rejoice in Sangha. And we've also heard today about Mara. You know, old Mara tempting the Buddha. We've heard Aya Santachita talking about Mara out the planetary effects, that the effects in our culture. We've heard the election. We've heard these things. And that is a part of this world and whom we can benefit through our practice. I was at a physical therapist a week or so ago, and she had to say, you know, we have a hard stop on the appointment because she needed to go for live shooter training. So she needed to go for training in what's becoming more and more common, the violence in the world. And I pulled out a picture. There were 4 of us who were recently on the East Coast with a lot more monastics. So a picture of 28 of the 29 monastics that were gathered. And I said, here, look at this picture. And I could take a picture of this space right here with all of us and those on Zoom in it. And I said, these are people you will never have to fear. And so that is for the benefit of many. And as we offer this benefit out into the world, I've had it happen. I know others here have. Someone will come up and say, you look like peace. No, someone will notice, or they may not even come up, but they will walk away. Someone drove us a couple of days ago, Vijana and I, and said, you know, I'm this little sensor that's telling me what my, I'm not sure, pulse or whatever, you know, how stressed I am. It's told me I've been calm for the last hour, half hour while driving in traffic, and it's because you're in the car. So this is the gift we give with our practice. And as we practice and become calmer together and stronger together, as our kindness becomes a strength, it becomes something that people out in the world can turn to and say, ah, yes, that is an alternative. That is a way that we can support each other. That is wholesome. So we can use our right intention, our renunciation, and our non-harming, and this loving kindness. And we can be a benefit for many, just as we already experience it right here in the, what was the word? And in community in the world.
I asked to be able to say a few words at the end. And since Chitananda and I made this up, I got my space. But I have no idea what I'm going to say. So, except that my heart is full of gratitude and appreciation for everyone. And, you know, as I'm noticing the whole family, Sarda and Dilhara's family here today, parents and baby and brother and sister-in-law and everyone, and our association from long years now. I think Sarda first, I was walking on California Avenue with my mom. I don't know, she wasn't wheelchair bound then yet, or she was, yeah, using a walker. She needed a new watch battery. I took my mom to the jeweler. We got the watch battery. We were walking down the street, and this man comes across the street and he says, hello, where are you? Where are you from? You know, something like that. And Sarda has such incredible faith. And he felt like it was a pretty strange thing to see on one of the streets in Palo Alto. And that started our relationship. And of course, if I weren't wearing these robes and with this shaved head, then no one would know, right? I really feel like, in some ways we're such an ancient throwback image. And for some people, it's a really weird thing. But when they start to understand what it is, and that we're not so scary after all, you start to notice that this heavenly messenger of the monastic form, the robes, is really something of value in this modern world. And it's the kind of faith that Sarada has shown, and over the years helping the monastery in many, many ways, he and Dilhara and the whole family. And we also, we had never been to Sri Lanka, Ayya Chitananda and I, and we went to Sri Lanka a few years ago and stayed with Sarada's parents. And we know his sister, his brother standing there in the back, and we're so pleased to be able to have this long-standing relationship with this beautiful family. And with all of you, I see so many faces. I haven't been able to really see who's online from the glare and the angle and all that, but we have our now online presence thanks to the pandemic. Some good things came out of it, didn't it? And to have this family spread around the world is really quite enriching and beautiful. I got a beautiful message from someone who met me in Australia last year, who lives in Switzerland, who wants to make a donation to the new kuti that we're raising funds for here during this time. And she's so grateful for all the talks and things that are online, because that's how she's really being able to continue to, enjoy the Dhamma. And one of the things, we've got this online thing happening now with all of us. We're all, there's YouTube talks and Dharma Seed talks from all of these monastics out there. And it's possible to, use YouTube in a way that's what it shows you instead of all that other stuff. And it's pretty encouraging. And to be able to share the Dhamma so broadly and yet, so intimately at the same time, to really get the sense we really all care about each other. It's really a beautiful thing. And we, when people are going through hard times, you've got somebody to reach out to, monastic or lay, a big community of friends. And I really feel we have, ever since we've gotten started with KBV, we've felt a very close sisterhood with Aloka Vihara. Now Aloka Vihara has burst open and spread its seeds around everywhere. And now we've got all of these sister monasteries. And Ayanianika has been part of that. And Ayasui John has been a good friend of mine from before we took robes. We were two women trying to figure out how to make this happen as we were hanging around Abhayagiri. And it's a beautiful sisterhood and a beautiful sister-brother relationship with our brother monasteries, the traditional ones that we sort of grew from, I would say, because we were, very influenced isn't the right word, formed in the Thai forest tradition, both of us. And now to see the sort of flame igniting in many, many more traditional settings for the support and encouragement of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. It's really a beautiful thing to watch, to witness, and to share. So I just, besides just sadhu, sadhu, sadhu for everything that's been said today, the beautiful friendship and generosity and kindness and valuing and devotion to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, I just want to say thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody. So we'd like to give people an opportunity to share if they would like to. Anyone here or online? Okay, that's a great idea. Philip, would you mind reading off who's joining us online?
This is alphabetical. So we have Adrian, Ann Schmidt, Aya Santachita, Carol, Harry Doan, Holly Griswold, James Bucky, Jamila, Jocelyn, Karen Moody, Kay Thomas, Linda Booth, Marilyn, Paula Brotman, and Upasika Mudita.
Thank you. So if anybody here would like to share, you can come up and use the mic. That would be great. If not, maybe someone online would like to. And if not, well.
And I also just want to say, don't be shy. I know it's a bit intimidating to take the mic, but we're doing it, and you can do it too. You don't have to stand here, and it'd be lovely to.
I would like to share, or I would like to just say thank you. This is Karen. Oh gosh, I don't want to be on the big screen. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for 12 years of guidance and the and learning and the ability to practice. And while I don't practice enough, I just want to say that, Aya Santusika, you've been like a major part of my life, and Aya Chitananda, you too, and the Aloka nuns as well. And thank you. Just thank you. I'm done.
About speaking of it. I don't know if it'll get to her. Okay.
I'm very appreciative to the ayahs because I was practicing before there were ayahs available, and I didn't know how much richer it would be until the Aloka Vihara nuns came to San Francisco. And I also am very appreciative of the monks who are here. That's a sadness because I love the Thai forest tradition, but I'm so glad to see some monks and bhikkhunis together. Thank you.
Just want to say thank you so much again, Ayaz. I'm very glad and happy that I crossed the street to come talk to you. And I think looking back, I think the impact that you and KBB and and I think the community has had on our lives is immeasurable. And I think what you're doing for all of us is just fantastic. And for the other nuns, I have Santa Chita and the Bantes who are starting new ventures. Wishing you also the very best, and very glad to hear you're able to have an impact on the community here and beyond and across the world.
Well, we've so much appreciated your family too, Sarda. It's been a really great that symbiotic mutual relationship. Thank you. And this one works really hard, by the way. He's he did a lot for Katina, but he also helps a lot out at the Hermitage and stuff too. So yeah, thank you. Okay. Nobody else? We can chant nice suttas then, yeah? Anyone online? Any else? Ah, okay. Is our treasurer for a few years also, and also a diehard Sutta study participant for many years. So, okay, anybody else online, Philip? Or are we kind of okay?
I feel like I want to share this. I feel like I want to share this, and you might have to help me with this. I think I heard or studied that it is a source of merit for us as lay people to be in the company of monastics. And well, that might be true on a cognitive level. It's an incredible experience, actually, to see you here and now and be with you and walk with you and eat with you and feed you. And it's not something, it's very different than reading about it or hearing about it. And it is that subtle thing that I think you were talking about that's transmitted in person. And I feel so grateful that I live in a place where I can actually come and be with you. I don't have to go to Thailand. And so it's with deep, deep gratitude that this day was here and that I was here and that you are here. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was beautiful. Okay, it's awful quiet. I think it's time to chant the sutta now in your program. A little insert there, the Metta Sutta. Maybe? We only have half a sutta here. Okay, this is the KBV abbreviated version of the Metta Sutta. If you know the whole thing, you go. Okay. Oops. Oh, really? Oh, it's a community exercise. I get it. I get it. Sharing. Got it. Okay. Okay. No, that's it. Okay. I have 2 copies of the program, so she was hoping. But okay. Now let us chant the Buddha's words on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all these be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the brave or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Okay, thank you. So that's basically our program. If you have other offerings that you'd like to make to the Sangha, now's the time. I think Sarda has, oh, we don't. One more blessing from the Sangha. But then you can, yeah, you can come make your offerings. Okay. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Buddhas. May you ever be well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Dhamma. May you ever be well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Sangha. May you ever be well.
Goodbye, Ayan Tusika. Goodbye, Chitananda. Goodbye, everybody.
And everyone, and for
Thank
anyone
you.
forward, we have some blessing bracelets for you. Also, if you wish to remember the day and any kind of aditana or determination you'd like to make in remembrance of this day, just maybe just take some and pass it around. And if you want to come forward to a particular monastic or come forward with whatever offerings you have. Oops. Okay, thank you. Bye.